The radio crackled in the dead of night. "Help me. I'm trapped in the cave." It was Hank's voice. But Hank had died yesterday. We had seen his body, torn open, eyes frozen in terror. The radio static twisted into something else. Something laughing. Then, from deep in the jungle, we heard footsteps. Heavy, slow, coming toward us. And my blood ran cold. Hank's dog tags were still around my neck. The jungle was too quiet. That was the first sign something was wrong. We moved in a tight formation, stepping lightly, rifles at the ready. The humidity pressed against my skin, making my uniform stick. Somewhere ahead, the cave waited. "Cole, you sure we're on track?" Mendoza muttered, glancing at his map. I checked my compass. The needle spun in slow, lazy circles. "As sure as I can be," I lied. Then, the radio crackled. Not normal static. Something shifting inside the frequency. Then a voice. "Cole, can you hear me?" I froze. The others did too, because it was Hank's voice. Mendoza swallowed. That. He stopped himself, because we all knew. Hank was dead, and yet, his voice kept whispering through the static. "I need help. I'm still here." I could hear the drip of water inside the radio transmission, like he was calling from somewhere wet, somewhere deep. Then the jungle shuddered. The leaves rustled, without wind. The branches creaked, as if something was shifting in the canopy. And in the distance, something moved. Not an animal, not a man. Something watching. The fog clung to the jungle floor, curling around our boots like grasping fingers. The heat was suffocating, but I felt cold. Mendoza's grip tightened around his rifle. "We're not alone," he muttered. I didn't answer, because ahead of us the jungle had changed. The trail was different, wider, twisted. The ground wasn't right, the soil too dark, too wet, as if something had bled into it for years. Then Mendoza cursed. "What the hell?" I turned. Boot prints, deep, fresh, leading forward. Too big to be ours, too many to be human. My pulse pounded against my skull. Then the radio crackled again. "You're almost here." It was Hank, but the words were wrong, not desperate, excited. And then, something moved in the trees, tall, watching. Unblinking red eyes peering from the canopy. Mendoza raised his rifle. "Contact." The jungle swallowed his words. Mendoza's breath hitched. His rifle trembled in his grip. I followed his gaze. Red eyes, high in the trees, watching, unblinking. My gut twisted. Too high for a man, too still for an animal. "Hold your fire," I whispered. The eyes didn't move. Then, a branch snapped. Not from above, from behind us. I spun, rifle raised. The jungle stared back. Nothing moved, but the silence felt wrong. Mendoza whispered, "Cole, look." I turned back. The eyes were gone. The jungle had swallowed them whole. Then the radio crackled again. "You're almost here." A rustling. Close. Too close. And suddenly, I knew. We weren't being hunted. We were being led. The trail ended abruptly. Ahead of us, the jungle parted like a wound, revealing a gaping black hole in the earth. The cave. Cold air seeped out, wrong against the jungle heat. A foul, metallic smell lingered, thick and wet. Blood. Mendoza swallowed hard. "This doesn't feel right." I agreed, but Hank's voice was still whispering from the radio. "Almost there. Keep coming." His tone had changed. Less human, more hungry. I took a step closer. The ground felt soft, like stepping on rotting flesh. Then the radio hissed. A new sound slipped through the static. Breathing. Not ours. From inside the cave. Something waiting. Then, from deep inside, the same voice whispered again. Come in. I've been waiting for you. I stepped inside first. The air turned heavy, thick like molasses in my lungs. My boots echoed, too loud, too deep, like the cave was swallowing the sound. Mendoza followed, his breathing sharp, unsteady. Our flashlights flickered as if struggling to stay alive. The walls pulsed, not physically, but something shifted. Shapes slithered in the darkness, just beyond the edge of the light. Cole, Mendoza whispered. Something's in here. Then the radio crackled. You're here. Finally. I stopped dead. The voice didn't come from the radio. It came from deep inside the cave. Then, a slow dragging sound. Something was coming toward us. Mendoza gripped my shoulder. His fingers were ice cold. Turn around. His voice barely a whisper. I slowly raised my flashlight to the walls, and my stomach dropped. Faces, dozens of them, pressed into the stone, mouths frozen open, eyes wide, trapped in silent screams. Their features stretched, half-formed, like they had been swallowed by the cave itself. Mendoza gagged. What the fuck is this? Then I saw it. One of the faces moved. Its eyes rolled toward me. Its mouth trembled, then whispered, "Run." And then the walls exhaled, a deep, inhuman breath. The walls pulsed, the faces twisted, and the radio was still talking. Cole, help me. Hank's voice. But something was wrong. The signal wasn't coming from my radio anymore. It was coming from inside the cave. Mendoza shook his head. We have to go, now. I knew he was right. But then the radio voice changed. A new sound, familiar, my own voice. Cole, you have to come deeper. You have to see. I felt a cold sweat trickle down my spine. Mendoza turned and ran, and as I followed, the radio crackled one last time. Don't run. You've always been here. Mendoza ran ahead, his footsteps echoing in the dark. I followed, my breath ragged, heart hammering. But then, the cave changed. The tunnel we came through, gone. In its place, a new passage stretched forward, twisting deeper into the blackness. Mendoza skidded to a stop. Where's the way out? I turned, my flashlight beam trembling. The walls had shifted. They had closed behind us. My radio hissed. You were never leaving. The voice wasn't mine. It wasn't Hank's. It was everyone. A chorus of voices, stacked, layered, laughing. Then, ahead of us, something crawled out of the dark. Not walked, crawled, on all fours. And it had Hank's face. Mendoza froze. I did too. The thing in front of us. It had Hank's face, but not his body. It was too long, too thin. Its arms bent the wrong way, and its eyes weren't human. They were empty, hollow. It grinned. You finally found me. The voice was Hank's, but the mouth never moved. Mendoza stumbled backward. No. The thing twitched. Then it charged. Mendoza screamed. I raised my rifle, and the cave collapsed into darkness. I hit the ground hard. My rifle skidded away into the dark. Mendoza was screaming. I grabbed my flashlight. The beam flickered, sputtering weakly. And that's when I saw them. Dozens of figures, all with Hank's face. Some crawled along the walls. Others hung from the ceiling, twitching. Their mouths gaped open, but they weren't breathing. They were watching, waiting. The radio crackled. Why are you afraid? Mendoza's voice. I turned. He was standing perfectly still. His eyes were rolled back, and he was smiling. We're already part of it. Mendoza stood there smiling, his eyes rolled back, his lips moving without sound. Then, his mouth opened wider, too wide. I took a step back. The walls pulsed. The cave was breathing. "Mendoza," I whispered. "Snap out of it." He laughed, but the sound didn't come from his mouth. It came from everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, the floor. Then, the other figures moved, all at once. They lurched forward, arms stretching, faces flickering between people we knew, people who had gone missing. The radio crackled. "Stay." I turned. The entrance was gone. The cave had sealed itself shut, and something was crawling toward me from the dark. I ran. Mendoza's laughter followed me, stretching through the dark like an echo that wouldn't die. The ground wasn't solid anymore. It was soft, wet, pulsing beneath my boots. I stumbled, hit the cave wall, except it wasn't a wall. It moved. A hand pushed through the stone, grasping at me. A human hand. I jerked away. That's when I saw them. Faces, buried in the walls. Dozens, hundreds. Their eyes followed me. Their mouths trembled. They whispered. No man left behind. The cave shuddered. Something huge was waking up. And then the floor collapsed. I fell. Straight into the mouth of the cave. I was falling. No end, no ground. Just an endless void of black stone, shifting around me. Then, impact. I hit something soft, wet, like flesh. I pushed myself up. Everything was pulsing. The walls, the floor, the air itself, and the whispers. Thousands of them, all speaking at once. I looked around. The cave had no exit, no way back. Just names carved into the walls. Familiar names. My squad's names. And then, my own. Scratched in deep, as if it had always been there. The whispers grew louder, and I realized they were screaming. I stumbled backward, my breath ragged. The names on the walls pulsed, like they were alive, breathing. Then, the radio crackled. "Cole, do you copy?" My chest tightened. That was command. They could hear me. I grabbed the radio, my hands shaking. "This is Staff Sergeant Daniel Cole, requesting immediate evac." Silence. Then, laughter. A slow, distorted chuckle, bleeding through the static. "Daniel, you already left." My blood ran cold. The voices in the cave whispered in unison. "You already left." I turned. Mendoza stood there, smiling. His eyes were empty holes. "Come on, Cole," he whispered. "It's time to go home." I looked down. My radio was rotting in my hands. The screen flickered, frequencies spinning out of control. The last thing I heard was my own voice whispering back at me. "No man left behind." And then, the cave swallowed me whole.